Hello Excel champions, it's William aka Dr. Excel. Today I'm going to show you how to use the function offset in Excel, which is super useful. I'm going to show you two ways we can use it. So as usual, I'm going to give you the file with the formula example. It's going to be available for download right below the video. I'm going to put the link for you and I'm going to show you right away how to use it. So first thing we have list of sales each month for several months. For each month we want to compute what were the sales 2 months ago. So I can do it very conveniently. I just have to use I just put equal and I select the sales 2 months ago. That's kind of easy. That's something you probably already know how to do, but the problem is we cannot do this for any kind of month. So for example, here I've done it for 2 months, but if I want to choose the number of months I want to display, for example, I want to be able to change, to check 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, just by changing one cell, one parameter. I cannot do it with this kind of formula. And that's where the function offset comes into play. Is actually we can choose how much we want to offset. Here we did offset by two rows, and we're going to see how we can do it by any number of rows. And this number here, I'm going to take 2, for example, but that's something you can as well compute with another formula. So here, if I want to know the sales that happened 2 months ago, I'm going to use offset, and I'm going to explain you the different parameters. So first, you have to select the cell in which we start. So here I'm going to start on the sales for the month we're considering. Now we're going to specify the number of rows and columns that I want to offset. So for example, if I put 0 and 0, it's going to take the figure in itself. We just take the sales for the current month. If I want to go back, we said 2 months before, I'm just going to offset it by two rows. And since we're going before, I offset by -2. I'm decreasing the number of the row, so I use -2. So I'm going to take minus 2 rows, and I'm staying in the same column. Here in the column B, so I offset by 0 columns, and so it's going to give me the number for 2 months before. We were in March. We take the sales 3,799, which was 2 months ago, and I can use this everywhere except, oopsie, what did I do? Yeah, I have to use this one as a fixed reference. To make sure to use this cell as a reference each time, and on the top 2 it's not going to work because we don't have the data available before. The cool thing is now I can change it to any number of months I want. For example, if I want to check 3 months ago, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to wrap this in a if error. I could wrap this in. I'm gonna wrap this in a if function to display only the number. So if if it's a number, so if is number this value, then I'm going to display it, and otherwise I'm gonna put a blank. I'm gonna put n. I'm going to put a blank. Okay, and I'm going to use this everywhere, like this. This way, this way I only have the good figures. And you see, for example, I said 2 months. I can take 4, for example. So first, I won't have the values, but here I look 4 months before. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1272. So each time it gives me the offset value. So of course here I just offset by the number of row, but you can offset by any number of column as well. And both of these parameters, the number of row and columns, that can be the result of a formula. So very useful to navigate through a table. So that's the first way we can use it. Second way is actually we can use the function offset to return a whole range and make operations on it. So it's a bit of the same thing here. So here I'm going to compute the sales past the past 6 months, for example, the past 4 months. So each time I should use this figure actually, sales. I'm gonna concatenate the strings this way. This way we have the correct titles for the columns. Sales 4 months last. Sales last 4 months. Okay. So if I want to have last 4 months, this means I want to know the sum of the sales these last 4 months. So it means each time for each row I have to compute, I have to delimit this variable range and then make a sum of it. And that's the role of the function offset. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use offset again. Offset. I start in the current cell, and I'm going to start here. I'm not going to offset any rows and columns, but I can choose in the function offset the height and the width of the range I want to return. So I'm going to start here, but I'm going to return a range that it's not one cell high and one cell wide anymore. I'm going to return something that is 4 cells high and 1 cell wide. So here I'm going to return, actually I have to use -4. -4, why? Because I want to go in this way. Same thing, and 1 cell wide. So thing is, this gives me a range, and if I want to do something of it, I have to sum it. And if I double check the sum, it's going to give me 16,920, which is what I have here, which means it works. And if I take, for example, the last 2 months, so here it didn't work. Why? Because I hard-coded the value, so I actually have to take it from the parameter here and minus. It's going to give me 9,075, which is what I have here. Okay, and same thing here. So, and now same thing, I can play around with the different delays that I'm interested in. I have the same issue here because sometimes when I don't have data, it returns an error. So I have to say if this thing is a number, then I display it, and otherwise I put a blank, and I'm going to use this everywhere. But now we can play around with different values. So each time if I check, if I take 6 months, I can double check the sum. 22,958. So that's basically the two big uses of the offset function. First, to return, you start from one cell and you compute from this cell where you want to go. So it's going to be a relative path. So for example, here we took 2 or 6 cell above, and then we want to return this result. Of course, you can go up and down, left, right, any way you want, any combination. And the second use is not to return only one cell, but to return a whole range, of which we can choose the position relative to the beginning cell, and we can choose the dimensions as well, and then we can make an operation on it. So here we made a sum. We can make any kind of operation on it. So offset is going to be the go-to formula when you want to do operations on a cell which has a relative distance from a beginning cell. As usual, you can download the file right below the video. It's going to be there's going to be a link where you can access the file. And I will see you tomorrow for a new Excel tip. Don't forget to subscribe. This way you will be notified as soon as I publish it. See you guys. Ciao.